So, welcome as always. It's Glenn Murdoch here. I am the CEO and the founder of the Life Coaching College, and I'm really excited today to talk about breaking the rules. It's fun to be a rule breaker. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a bit of a rule breaker. I'm a bit of a rebel. I always have been, and one of the things I want to go through with you guys today is just a recheck on what rules maybe are worth looking at breaking and what ones are not. So today we're going to look at 10 rules that I think you might have been brought up with, that I think as a disruptive entrepreneur, you should maybe look at breaking. So that's the fun we're going to have today. It's very much a power session today. So you guys will know some of our classes go for an hour, some go for 2, some go for 3. Today's a quick, powerful session. We should be, 25 minutes or so, as long as I don't talk for too long. So I look forward to going through that with you. By the way, breaking the rules doesn't mean breaking the law. This class deals with the rules of society rather than the rules that are set up to protect us with law, okay? And ignoring some of society's rules, I think, is not only acceptable and preferable, but it's also something that you need to do to stand out from the crowd. Remember, when everyone is zigging, you want to be zagging. And breaking the rules is a little bit about zagging. So that's what we're going to play this little while. I've got to tell you that there's normally some kind of a consequence for breaking any rule. The consequence may simply be a raised eyebrow. It could be a smattering of disagreement, but know the rule and how it may affect you when you break it, and you should be all right. Please, coaches and potential coaches, be true to your beliefs and your values. If you break a rule that makes you depart from your traditions and your beliefs that you hold dear, then you're not being true to yourself, and that won't work. So remember, this is just the world according to Glenn, things I've learnt that I'm sharing with you. Arm yourself with knowledge and experience before you break some of the rules we're going to talk about. Consider the risks and do it diligently as a disruptive entrepreneur. Don't be as concerned with what other people might think with regard to what you're doing. The only thing that matters is what you think and your life and the lives of the people that are important to you. Don't be afraid to reveal yourself when you break a rule. But don't just break rules to have fun. We want to give it a little bit of forethought. We're starting to think about these things, okay? Nothing is written in stone when it comes to rules. Consider your life and your coaching life in particular as a beautiful blank canvas. You get to pick and choose how to paint the picture. Rules of society help us get along, and they help us with clarity and with order, but some rules hamper creativity and hamper progress as an entrepreneur. We don't want to just break rules to cause chaos. We want to look at the rules, and then I want you to decide after today's class whether some of them might be worthwhile breaking. Know that most rules are put in place for a reason, and that reason may have more of a domino effect if you choose to break it than you first thought. But with a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of thought, I reckon that you're going to know which rule is just begging to be broken and which ones maybe have value and should remain in place. And I'm going to poke you a little bit today. I'm going to prod you and probably going to get some reaction from you, and that's okay. It's a part of my job. But just like the beautiful Pablo Picasso said, learn the rules like a pro so that you can break them like an artist. Isn't that cool? Aaron says, rules were meant to be broken. Everyone has different perspective, and I agree. So let's look at some of the rules I think that are cool. Some rules, by the way, just don't fit into today's society. The 10 rules I'm going to talk about were set forth at a time when work situations and life situations were different than they are today. I reckon they need to be tweaked. Let's have a look at them. The 9 to 5 rule. Stay true to your goals and dreams rules. You need the right qualifications to do that rule. Your parents are always right rule. As a parent of young children, I don't want my kids to break that one just yet. Plan for all eventualities rule. Work hard and you will succeed rule. What other people think is important rule. Always be humble. Take yourself very seriously rule. And mistakes are a bad thing rule. Let's get stuck in. One outdated rule is that you must be qualified for every job. Now, that might still apply in certain careers, like a surgeon or maybe an electrician, but there are tons of roles where you do not need an official, in inverted commas, qualification. To be an entrepreneur, you don't need a qualification. To be a coach, you actually right now, as we sit here today in Australia, do not need a qualification as we know it, a formal one. Now you guys get that we are International Coach Federation qualified, we're Australian Board of NLP qualified, we do have important qualifications, but, and here's the big but, day one, after your first weekend of training, when you learn your first 4 coaching sessions, you won't have a qualification, but you will be ready to coach. You will absolutely be ready to get out there and get started. So I want to break that rule that tells us that we need a qualification to get started. You know, you'll be amazed how many people I'll talk to on the phone that will say, how can I coach if I don't have a qualification? And I say, do you know what? Driving on the road is a way more dangerous thing than being a coach. Yet we let you drive on the road before you get your qualification. Don't we? Don't we let you drive with your L plates when you've got no idea what you're doing? Do you remember that first hour? Oh my gosh, especially in a manual car with all of those things to concentrate on. Nothing more dangerous than that. We'll let you do it. I can tell you now, you guys are ready. In the first hour of your first weekend, you're ready to get started. And what life has taught me is that that journey will never finish, and nor should it, because there's a continuation of the learning curve and there are always new things to learn, and I like that. And I think qualifications are kind of finite and they shouldn't be. You're always growing. All right, what about this one? The 9 to 5 rule. Look at that dude. The 9 to 5 rule was implemented during the days of factories and when it was important to get a certain amount of productivity done during the day. Now, people work on different schedules because technology allows you that freedom. You can work from anywhere, with anyone, at any time. And I encourage you, forget 9 to 5. If you've got 9 to 5 right now to help you pay to get where you want to be, that's fine. But as a coach, as an entrepreneur, there's no 9 to 5. You get to do what you want to do when you want to do. Does that mean you go on holidays all the time and don't do any work? Absolutely not. You work incredibly hard as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner. But you do get to do it on your terms. Isn't that cool? Isn't that what it's about? Isn't it about being able to drop your children off in the morning, pick them up in the day, play with them during the day if you want to? Take a day off to go and have some fun just because you can. So we forget the rules of 9 to 5. That's old school thinking. Not for us, not for the entrepreneurs, right? And Aaron says 9 to 9 more like it. Aaron, 9 till 2 a.m. is more like it, to be honest, right at the start. It's so funny. I'll have people say to me, Glenn, I want to start my own coaching business so I can have some freedom and some free time. And I reckon that's like having kids so you can have free time, right? This is your baby and you want to put time and energy into it. You know the beautiful thing? That time and energy is so fun and it's so effortless because it's your baby and you're so passionate about it and it invigorates you. So doing a 16-hour day is nothing compared to doing an 8-hour day for something you're not passionate about. Does that make sense? That's the beautiful thing about doing your own thing. Aaron says, I didn't want to scare anyone. It's not scary. It's cool. It's such a cool thing, Aaron. It's like, to me, people talk about work-life balance. There is no such thing as work-life balance for me. It's just life. And for part of my life, I'm playing with my kids, and for part of it, I'm playing cricket, and part of it, I'm seeing friends, and part of it, I'm seeing my beautiful wife, and part of it, I'm here at the office, and I'm changing lives by doing things like this crazy class. Just life. And I believe the true value of happiness for me is that that's where my life is now. I love coming here in the morning, and I love being here during the day, and I love being here at night. It's not work, as we used to define it. It's this beautiful part of my life that I get so many of my core needs met by every day. Make sense? What about this one? Mistakes are a bad thing. Mistakes should never be a bad thing. You learn from your mistakes. And no matter how big or monumental a screw up it is, you can always recover. There's always time to turn it around, and there's always time for a lesson. So no matter how much you mess up, take the lesson and move forward. Because you know what I find? When people are terrified of making mistakes, they don't make any decisions. When people are terrified of making a mistake, they don't do anything. They don't say yes to anything new. They're imprisoned by their comfort zone. That's a tough place to live, man. That's a really tough place to live. I say get out, make a mistake, make $1 million. Spend money that you shouldn't have spent. Do a course that didn't quite work. Who cares? You're always going to learn something. Be prepared to make $1 million mistakes. I would much prefer that than living in a world where you're trying to control everything and control every outcome and not prepared to make a mistake. Make a ton of mistakes. Laugh about them, get the lesson, move along. Isn't this cool? Isn't this cool? This is how we really should be looking at the world, I think. All right. What about this one? What about those people that have always believed that to be successful, you've got to take yourself very seriously? Life should be serious. We should all be wearing suits and ties and shiny shoes. And we should all be shaking hands and looking at how important we are. This is not the way the world is now. Man, you look at these kids, these beautiful, amazing kids, this generation of people that are 16 to 21, 22, and apologies for calling you a kid if you're here and you're on that call and that's your demographic. It's just as a 46-year-old you are to me. But I look at these people and they are inheriting this world quicker than you could ever imagine, and it's so exciting. They're so fearless. They have you got a phone, you got the world at your disposal now. And it's not about being serious. It's about having fun and being passionate and being energetic and driving change and being a leader. This is where we now play. I'm walking around doing this class. I can tell you I've got my runners on. I've got a pair of cargo shorts on. I've got my Nike top. I'm hanging out, doing what I want to do with people I want to do it, and I think this is business now. Sure, you've got to deliver. Absolutely, you've got to have a professional appearance based on what your market want. But this whole concept that you need to treat yourself and everyone very seriously, and that's business, and it's not like that anymore. People don't want that. Old school thinking. Cool? By the way, how good is that photo? Love it. What about this one? Be friendly to everyone and help as much as possible. Now, this is going to push some buttons, okay? But work with me here. I think one of the traps that I see people getting into in business, in life, is the trap of being the savior to everybody. That person who wants to help everybody and they invest their life and their identity in being that person who wants to help everyone. And they never say no, and they always say yes. And you know what happens? In the end, you just get tired. And as a coach, I actually see that person getting bitter. And if you think about the 6 core needs and where you get your core needs from, if one of the ways that you get your need for significance is by helping people, that's beautiful. I love that, and I acknowledge you for that. But if in doing that, you do something to get something, and you continue to do something to get something, what I find emerges as a pattern is that when you don't get something back, you get bitter and annoyed, and it becomes a bit righteous, and it becomes a little bit like the world owes you something. And if you've seen that pattern, or if you coach that pattern, that's how it plays out. That's the pattern, by the way. So it's the person who, I help everyone, but no one gives me anything. Well, do you know what? The world doesn't owe anyone any favors. So I'm not saying don't be friendly. What I am saying is be really choosy on where you dedicate your time. Be really choosy on who you help and how you help them. Help it 100% with one person instead of helping it 10% with 10 people. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with you? Because I see this pattern a lot. And the cold, hard reality, folks, is that you cannot be everything to everyone. Cool? All right. How about this one? Work hard and you will succeed. Working hard to succeed is another rule that simply isn't valuable today like it used to be. Working smarter is really what you want to aim for. And if you can add working smarter and working hard, brilliant. The term working hard is kind of negative, isn't it? It's like, whoa, I don't want to do anything that's hard. What do we really mean? We mean that person that's slogging away all day, every day, trying to earn a little bit of money so they can put the money away and yada, yada, yada. Old school. It's old school. It's old school thinking that's been designed to keep you in a job. Work smarter. Leverage your time. Leverage your possibility. Have people working hard for you instead of you working hard. Be clever. Does this mean, again, that you're going on holidays and not doing anything? No, it doesn't. But you can have both. It means, again, that you're passionate about what you do. Work passionately. Work smartly. Work in something you love. Work in something you excel at. Work in something you're brilliant at. Find that thing that you do that people will pay you money for. That's the thing. That's your passion. That's your thing. I hope it's coaching. I'm assuming if you're on this call, it is. And if it's not yet, it's going to be. But remember, coaching's so many things. It's not just one-to-one. It can be group coaching. It can be training. It can be running workshops, seminars, retreats. There are so many things you can do as this thing we call a coach. It's so open for interpretation of what you can do and where you can play. So many possibilities. Cool? How about this? All right. Your parents are always right. Now, this is a rule that is good when you're a child and you need protection. And you need protection from all of the things that could harm you. But as you gain more experience, as you grow, you may be the only one who knows what's truly best for you. And I put this as one of the rules because this is a rule I see coming up with clients. It's a rule I see coming up with students. And I see so many people that have never been able to cut the cord from mum and dad. And I see so many mums and dads that have never been able to cut the cord from their kids. Your parents aren't always right. They're your parents. You are the only one who knows your answer. You might not have asked yourself the question yet. Welcome to coaching, by the way. But you are the only one who knows what's right for you right now. Trust your intuition. Trust your gut. Trust yourself. And break that rule that says that mum and dad always know best. They don't. They only know what's best for them. Cool. This is fun. Okay. What about the rule that tells us that we should always be humble? This one's going to poke some people. It's going to push some buttons. That's okay. Humility, the quality of having a modest or low view of one's importance. Purely by definition, how can you lead people? How can you lead people if you have a modest or low view of your importance? Do I want you to run around big noting yourself? Absolutely not. People hate that. People are turned off by that. But I will tell you now that your pack are going to need a leader. They're going to need a character to follow. They're going to need someone to take them to the next level. And that person, whilst having humility, also needs to have strength. That person also needs to show leadership. That person also needs to show that they know the way, and they're going to help map that way. So back in the day when we're told should always be humble, I don't believe that now to be true. I now believe there are times when you shouldn't be humble. I now believe there are times when as a leader and as an entrepreneur, you need to not be humble. You need to let people know that you do have a way, and you can show people that way, and you can be a leader, and you can guide them. That's okay. That's okay. I want you to feel comfortable with that. You should always stay true to your goals and dreams. Here's the thing. Staying true to your goals and dreams is a rule that is touted in the media, in books, in magazines. It is brilliant to pursue your goals and dreams. But here's the thing. You also at different times need to reset. You need to change your goals, reset your goals, create new goals. Because that goal that I see people when I was coaching that they'd had for their life, and they might not have gotten it or didn't quite get there, and then everything fell apart. Well, that was just a goal for that particular time and that particular moment. And you run 100% towards getting that goal. But if on the journey you decide there's a new goal, another goal, a more challenging goal, you get that goal, you want another one, then that's what you do. If you change, I'm standing here now and I can tell you that my big goal was to be a principal in a school. Well, funnily enough, I kind of am. But I'm so glad that as a teacher and as a lecturer, I changed my goal. And I actually changed my goal from wanting a higher position in an environment to wanting to create my own environment. Complete change of goal. I can tell you in the school, in the college, we are constantly setting new goals. And we're often changing just slightly and sometimes dramatically where we're heading. Sometimes it's due to competition. Sometimes it's due to circumstances in the education setting. Sometimes it's due to a change of values and culture. And I want to let you know that's okay. So if you want to change a goal or a dream that you've got, feel free to do it. Break that rule, because you don't need to stay true to your goals and your dreams. You do need to work hard to get to one, and then you need to reset. But if you change your mind, you've gone now from wanting to be the best damn plasterer that you can be to now being the best damn life coach you can be. Go for it. And don't let anyone tell you that you can't change your goal, or you had another goal and you've changed it to a new goal. Have a crack. And remember, commit to completion. Commit to completion once you've got the goal. This isn't an excuse to be a flip-flopper, okay? This isn't an excuse to be a next shiny object person, but this is an excuse for you to say, if you want to change where your life is heading, create a brand new goal just for you that's going to empower you and nurture you and support you, I say do it. Why not? Break the rule that you can't. Isn't this cool? Thank you for the thank yous. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys are loving this. All right, this is our last one. This is the last one for our power session. And it is this rule here where we are told you should plan for all eventualities. Now, I don't know whether you watch any TV, but one show I've seen on TV that really cracks me up is a show on, it might be the Discovery Channel, right? And it's a show about these people that plan for the takeover of the universe, or they plan for some kind of, incredibly bad event, or they plan for war, or, and they build these bunkers in their house and they have like years of supply, and they spend their whole life planning for what might, for all of these eventualities that might happen, to the point where they're, I see them and you won't need money when this happens, but we do need bottled water and you need lots of cans of beans, and I've got my family down here set up for, 18 months at a time, and we've set all of this up and we've only spent 100 grand of our money and all of this stuff, right? I don't know what the show is called. If anyone has seen it, you might be able to help me. But I watch it and I can't help but to laugh. And I can't help but to laugh at how much of their current life they're not living. How much of their current life they're not loving, because they're planning all of these eventualities that are made up in their own mind. Now, I don't know if you're a conspiracy theorist or not. Oh, there we go. Graham says it's preppers. That's right, doomsday preppers. What a name. But how much of your life or your business are you not being present in if you're planning for a million different possible eventualities? Now, anyone who's come and listened to one of my business workshops will know one of my biggest rules in business is that you should never create a solution to a problem that you don't have. I'm going to say that again. In business, you should never create a solution to a problem that you don't have. And I'm going to go a step further. You should never create a solution to a problem that you don't know is there when you're creating your business. What does that mean? It means new age business is creating things that you know people want. Old school business is creating something you hope people will want. New age, find out what they want and then create it and then sell it to them. That's how you do a successful business, as opposed from create 25,000 widgets that you're not really sure people are going to order, spend all of your life savings, they don't order it, all of your life savings get taken, you then go into some kind of weird receivership, you have to sell all of the stuff that you created at about a 50th of what you spent it on to someone else who waits and then sells it down the track when there's a need. You get it? So in business, please, I implore you, don't create a solution to a problem that you don't have. There are enough things to do as a business owner without creating solutions to every possible permutation that could come up. Because if you do that, you will spend all of your time creating policies. You will spend all of your time creating solutions to all of the different things that might happen, could happen. And I'll ask you, imagine what life would be like if you did that. Before you went out, you planned for every single possible outcome. Imagine how challenging your life is when you do that. That's what people do in business. Cool? Hey, I really trust that you've loved our little power half an hour. It kind of got me thinking during the week. If we're being disruptive, and it's a big catchword now, right? But I kind of like it. If we're being disruptive, if we're being entrepreneurs, maybe it was time that we address some of the rules that keep us safe and don't allow us to move forward and throw out some new possibilities. So that's our half an hour. So fun having you here. I love running these classes. I really trust that you enjoyed it, and there'll be another one soon, and I really hope to see you on that class soon. If you've got any questions, feel free to pop them through in the little box, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can, and have a brilliant week. We'll catch up with you soon.